Leaf-tailed geckos are easily one of the most incredible geckos you can own. They are cryptic, unworldly, and ridiculous, and the Uroplatus genus, which are the Madagascar leaf-tailed geckos, is very diverse. The species within Uroplatus range from a 3.5-inch dead leaf mimic to 10-inch bamboo mimics and even 12 to 13-inch long bark mimics. Each of these little subcategories have their own superstars, but the true winners of my heart are the bark mimics. The bark mimicking Uroplatus in the Fimbriatus group are some of the larger species, ranging from 6 to 12 inches and in some cases even more. In this subgroup, some of the most breathtaking species exist, displaying an array of colors, bark patterns, moss or lichen resembling splotches, and more. So let's get right into my Uroplatus breeding plans for 2024. Uroplatus sakurae is one of the most commonly kept of the Uroplatus species. They are the more popular of the two mossy leaf-tailed gecko species and are marginally smaller than their mossy counterparts. The males tend to resemble bark, usually displaying lateral striping, while the females tend to resemble moss and lichen with more organic and irregular patterns and cryptic colors. This allows breeders to determine the sex of Uroplatus offspring right out of the egg in most cases. Here is my male, a lovely gray-colored animal with incredible bark-like grooves down his dorsal and tail. Though he is not the flashiest as far as color and moss splotches go, one of the things I truly love about this male is how pronounced his frills are and how full his tail is. In addition to simply producing healthy captive-bred offspring, one of my major goals with Uroplatus is contributing to structural improvement. I have noticed that wild-caught animals tend to have less pronounced frills and beards, which are what people refer to the chin frills as, and this can simply be a result of them being stressed or worn down. However, I hope to breed individuals with more refined frills and fuller tails to hopefully see some structural improvement in the offspring. I've noticed that captive-bred offspring typically have more full tails as well as more full frills. Next is my female Uroplatus sakurae. The female has some growing to do, but she would be ready to breed late this year. She is a wonderful example of what female pattern tends to resemble, displaying various blotches of brown and gray coloration, as well as some incredible teal lichen splotches on her cheeks. In addition, although it is difficult to see it here due to her being fired up, she has a white collar, which is a white banding that is present around the neck and the tail of individuals. This seems to be genetic, and hopefully we see this passed down to some of her offspring. Uroplatus saemeti are the second species of mossy leaf-tailed gecko. Originally, it was thought that they can be distinguished from Uroplatus sakurae by the coloration of the buccal membrane, which is the tissue in the throat of these animals. While sakurae possess a black-colored membrane, saemeti possess a pink one. However, it is now known that sakurae in some regions of Madagascar may display pink-colored membranes, making it more difficult to distinguish between the two species. However, it is also known that Uroplatus saemeti are slightly larger than sakurae. This is my male Uroplatus saemeti, and he is probably one of my favorite mossy leaf-tailed geckos I have seen. He has a bright white collar around his neck and tail that changes in vibrancy throughout the day, and this coupled with his unreal brightly colored green is a sight to behold. The female here is a little less flashy as far as color goes, but she has a lot going for her too. Her marbled gray coloration is a great feature, but what I appreciate most about her is her size and structure as previously mentioned. This female is large, full, and has a lush tail and incredibly well-defined frills along her jaw. Hopefully the offspring inherit her robust structure as well as the male's incredible green moss and white banding. Uroplatus fimbriatus is one of the two giant leaf-tailed gecko species, with Uroplatus giganteus being the second. Uroplatus fimbriatus is marginally smaller than giganteus, attaining sizes of 11 to 12 inches, and has red-colored veining in their eyes, whereas giganteus have a white or silver-colored veining. From what I have seen, giganteus are also slightly more colorful and intricately patterned by default, but several people are selectively breeding incredible fimbriatus specimens, resulting in offspring similar to that of the mossy species, just larger. Uroplatus fimbriatus are also the more common of the two kept species in the United States. They are relatively common as wild-caught specimens, but are notoriously hard to get breeding. Some have incredible success while others simply cannot get their individuals to breed. This is my male, a beautiful light gray individual with intricate marbling. At night, this male becomes a very dark gray, almost black color, making him look like he's a completely different animal. He is just about full grown at about 11 or 12 inches. His future mate is this female who is slightly smaller and needs more time to grow. Though she often changes in her color's intensity and her pattern's prominence, she is slightly more patterned and variable in her color than the male. This seems to be typical of females in the Fimbriatus species. These will be paired in the near future, and the main goal with this species is simply to produce captive-bred offspring, with selective breeding for better color or patterns being a future goal. Finally, Uroplatus lineatus are the only bamboo mimicking species and the only large species without frills. They make up for this with their interesting eyelashes though. Uroplatus lineatus attain sizes of 10 to 11 inches and have a distinctly black tongue and silver eyes that turn red at night. I don't own this pair anymore, however, I do have eggs incubating from these individuals, with one clutch being around 110 days old, so we should see some offspring in the near future. Uroplatus lineatus are likely the most unique of the genus, with females typically being more clean and linear in pattern, possessing dark streaking and white lines, while males are more blotchy in coloration. The female from this pair had really excellent coloration, while the male had a very uniquely wide tail for this species, which I hope to see in the offspring. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're a leaf-tailed gecko fanatic like I am, consider subscribing and dinging the notification bell because there are going to be some incredible updates on these leaf-tailed geckos really soon. Thanks again for watching, and until next time.